You're going to have a down season in the middle of stuff. It's just the nature of what it is. You're not going to catch all the breaks. Stuff's going to happen. But they're always there, man. They're
Yeah.
always there. Like they're always working it. And we have the, whatever you want to call rivalry anymore, whatever it is, but the Packers. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, and it's funny because I know that we sometimes joke about somebody we know is a Packers fan and their struggles with their team from time to time and how horrible and how great they are, and it's very bipolar. Um, but dude, they had some rough parts during their season, but where are they now?
Yeah, they're still in the
They're
playoffs.
still in the playoffs, and they're then just and that's what it's all about. Get
Yeah.
there, and that's all that matters. Get there and get hot.
Yes, be good enough to get there.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the example's there for you. Why not take it? Why not try something new? Why not try something different? And I think that's what the Bears are doing.
Hmm.
By however they came to decide that Ryan Pace was the right GM for them, because I don't I don't remember before their search started being like, yeah, I've this guy. I'd never heard of the guy before. He was hired, and then you hear that, oh, they talked to, and then you read about him like, okay, but you didn't really know about, you know what I mean? You didn't. So they definitely tried something new. Now it is totally Bears to hire somebody that has never done the job before, because they definitely like to do that. But they flipped that script when they hired John Fox, because
Yes.
that's something they never done before. They had never hired a previous head coach in the league. So there's some sort of change involved. I mean, I just when you were talking about, I started looking at their schedule, and okay, so the first 3 weeks, actually, you know what, the first half of the first game against the Packers, they played decent, and they only lost 31-23, but the second half was different. I remember that they got smoked
Yes.
by the Cardinals, they got smoked by the Seahawks. Um,
Okay, well, everyone got smoked by the Cardinals
yeah,
this year.
yeah.
And you had Jimmy Clausen starting a game against Seattle. That was there was no one. I cannot honestly believe that anyone on that 53-man roster, 52-man roster, whatever, or that coaching staff thought that they had a legitimate chance to win that game in Seattle. Now, Seattle couldn't put up points the first half,
True.
and they were in it as a 3-0 game or 6-0 game, whatever it was at that point. They could be in, but it was a disaster because Seattle at that time they had their issues. They
Oh yeah,
still have their
definitely.
issues with running back. So
Definitely. But I mean, and then they came back on the Raiders and the Chiefs. They should have beat. Well, they should have beat the Lions both times.
yes,
They should have beat the Vikings the week after the Lions. They could have won that game, and they didn't. Um, wow, I don't remember the Rams game. They really smoked the Rams, huh?
yeah, yeah,
You could make a case they could have beat the Broncos. They lost it by 2 points.
yeah.
Well,
They
17-15, and the
Brock
nine. You can
Osweiler.
make a case they should have beat the Niners. You can make a case they should have beat the Redskins. I mean, they got smoked by the Vikings the second time around, but they could have easily. I mean, that it could have easily been a much different outcome. That being said, I don't think that would have equated success in the playoffs, but you never know.
Oh yeah, no,
I
you're
mean,
right.
there's been, what was it? How many times did the Giants win the Super Bowl? At 7-9. You know what I mean? Was it both times? I know it was one for sure, but like, it happens. Bad
Yeah,
teams get hot in the playoffs, and they're not horrible. They're just,
not world
like,
beaters.
I guess what I'm saying is, if the Bears were to have turned a couple of those games around, did what I think it would equate. But then you also don't know, because then that different scenarios can, I feel like, change a team. But I don't know. I was the biggest surprise for me in the Bears season was Jay Cutler.
Yes.
Absolutely relaxed and at ease. Visibly Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? He didn't. It wasn't like it wasn't the same as in the past.
Well, it wasn't the same as the past, but I also think you had adults in charge of the situation, from top to bottom. And if you want to compare the broadcasts that the Bears fans saw and that national audiences saw last year, so the 2014 season, and compare that to the broadcast you heard this year, you would think that it's night and day. It's genuinely night and day. You had the entire team on the same page. I don't know if they went over it in training camp. I don't know if they did it the first day that John Fox came in and he said, Jay Cutler's our quarterback. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you don't like him. Respect him for the quarterback, and that's it. And they all got in line. Everyone got in line on that page, including the coaching staff, including the front office. I remember it was a Monday Night Football game and John Gruden would not let up on Jay Cutler in 2014. It was towards the end of the season, and it was kind of like it was at that point a meaningless national game. But you would think that Jay Cutler would habitually drag women into the street, beat them, rape them, shoot puppies, and was a driving force behind the Holocaust and Katrina. You really would. You would think that this guy is scum of the earth and is being run out of town on a rail, which just wasn't true to begin with, and wasn't true at all this year. You heard, oh, he's a tremendous leader. Look at him get up. Look at the toughness. Look at this. The whole narrative. And for those of you that don't know, a lot of this stuff, it's entertainment. It's a story. But it's who's telling you the story. Are children telling you the story with what Dr. Death was doing? Because he said, you know what? I want to get another job. So screw Cutler. I'm going to throw him under the bus. And Cutler's like, whatever. I thought the best thing that could have come out of this season would have been a commercial for DirecTV that would have said, "Hi, I'm Jay Cutler, and I'm F it Jay Cutler." And not much really of a difference between the two, because just as a joke, because that's the joke here in Chicago, is that he's the same guy no matter what. He's the same guy if they're leading, the win against Green Bay. And he's also the same guy that's getting railroaded by a Giants team for, a league record of 8 sacks and a half, 7 sacks and a half.
Yeah, he's the same guy.
Yeah, and not everyone wants to say, oh, this is maturity, this is whatever. I think he got people. He was finally surrounded with people that that are NFL offensive professionals or NFL professionals. And okay, Adam Gase is gone now. I think you have. I'm not saying what's his name, Loggins.
Yeah,
I think that's the new guy. I'm not saying Loggins is going to be the next greatest thing, but I think what you still have these core principles intact. You have a year under the belt of Jay Cutler's our quarterback, and we like him, and we're going to stick to that narrative, and until he gets injured or something else happens, until he drags a woman out into the street in broad daylight and beats and rapes her and shoots a gaggle full of newborn puppies. I mean, there's that's not going to change. So he's going to make he really lessened the bad throws. Did they happen? Yes, but
they're gonna happen.
Yeah, they're gonna happen. Honestly,
in his defense, I cannot point out the games, but I know he, in addition to the bad throws, he also had a couple throws that were picked off this year that it was like no other defender makes that play. I think I want to say he threw a pick that Clay Matthews got on him.
Okay.
In, I want to say the first Green Bay game, but it was like, and it was an absolute amazing play by Clay Matthews, and I'm not saying that to like kiss his ass or anything, but it was amazing, and it was he couldn't have made a better throw. You know what I mean?
Well,
and I definitely know that there was points during the season where, like, as those things happened, there was also like many times where he made unbelievable throws, and yeah, our receivers caught it or whoever caught it, but there was so many times that he made throws that nobody else really makes. Not nobody else, that elite quarterbacks make. I'm not saying he's an elite quarterback, but he has some of the skills that make that happen. But he's just like anybody else. And not only that, this season, I mean, they're also playing with like half a team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they absolutely are.
Like we've pointed out, there was, improvements, but there was also some guys that are like, this guy's not going to, they're going to have a lot of turnover from this year's to next year's roster. And I think that's good. I think you need to, there's no reason for guys to stay around if they're not doing.
Yeah. If they're not doing the job, or they get a better deal elsewhere, okay, fine. If they played up to a level that earns them a better contract somewhere else, okay, fine. Go ahead, no problem there.
Yeah,
but
you can't.
I remember that Clay Matthews one. I'm kind of sort of replaying it in my head. I think he scrambled. Cutler scrambled towards the top of the. Well, it would be his right side, and it kind of. I don't know if it was a design play or the play broke down. Whatever the case is, it looked like Clay Matthews was the only one that saw what the play was supposed to be, and he was there to make the catch. I mean, there are plenty of times where receivers didn't run the right routes or weren't on the same page as him. That's not Cutler's fault. I mean, there are definite plays that a quarterback is responsible for an interception. There are plays where a wide receiver or a running back is responsible for an interception because they make the wrong play. Not saying that it's fair, but it is what it is. So I think you're absolutely right. Cutler's was a very nice surprise this season. There's a lot of growth, I think, that has to go into the rest of the team. But there's not a lot out there. And if you don't really believe me and you just want to stick at one position and the quarterback, think of how many really bad. I know we've talked about it before. A couple of years ago,
we went through the list. Yeah,
we have to revisit the list and add a whole bunch of names on there that you never thought would be playing in the NFL, and a whole bunch of names that aren't playing in the NFL at this point. And I think you're going to be there. If not, he's in the top third. I genuinely believe he's at the top third of the quarterbacks. Doesn't have to. Top third doesn't mean 1, 2, 3. It means top 10.
Yeah,
30 teams.
There
are 32, so yeah, 10, 12. 12.
Put it in perspective. This, would you rather have what he provides, or would you rather have what was provided by Brian Hoyer in the Texans playoff game? Because he was horrible. So that's what else is out there. So,
mm-hmm.
But it's like the unique position in sports now, and it's just that because that's what it is. Like there's different eras of everything. Any sport there's like strong pitching eras, strong whatever. So, it's so particular how that. I don't know what else to say about that. I found the Clay Matthews play, so I keep on watching over and over again. I will send it your way. It's just. Am
I right? Was I right? Did he have to? It was a scramble out. I think it was to the top of the screen because I think they were going from the right to the left.
Okay, so he just like it's just